Welcome to month 1 of the DevOps lead track. This session is unlike most technical training you have done, because the hard parts are not technical. You already know how CI/CD works, how containers are orchestrated, how incidents are managed. Today we are building the layer on top of that, how you measure what matters, how you identify where your delivery system is broken, and how you communicate that work to people who do not care about Kubernetes. By the end of this session, you will have a DORA snapshot of your own team, a value stream map, a draft set of OKRs, and a one-page executive summary. These are not homework exercises. They are real artifacts you will use. Here is how the 4 hours are structured. Hour 1 covers DORA and strategy, which is the measurement foundation. Hour 2 is value stream mapping, where you find where the waste actually lives in your delivery process. Hour 3 is OKRs and road mapping, where you translate the waste you found into work you can sequence and defend. Hour 4 is the executive narrative, where you compress everything into a form that a CFO or CTO can act on in 3 minutes. Each hour builds on the last. The quality of your DORA snapshot in Hour 1 directly affects the quality of your executive pitch in Hour 4. Data quality is the multiplier for everything that follows. The DORA program, DevOps Research and Assessment, has been running large-scale surveys since 2014. The 4 keys are the result. 4 metrics that consistently predict software delivery performance and, more importantly, organizational outcomes like revenue growth, employee satisfaction, and reliability. 2 of the metrics measure throughput. Deployment frequency measures how often you ship to production. Lead time for changes measures how long it takes from the first commit to that code running in production. 2 metrics measure stability. Change failure rate is the fraction of changes that cause a production incident or require a rollback. Mean time to restore measures how quickly you recover when something breaks. The most important finding from a decade of DORA research is that in high-performing teams, these 4 metrics do not trade off against each other. The fastest teams also have the lowest change failure rates. Speed and stability are achieved together, not balanced against each other. The 4 metrics segment teams into 4 performance bands: low, medium, high, and elite. Elite teams deploy on demand, often multiple times per day. Their lead time is under an hour. Their change failure rate is below 15%. When something breaks, they recover in under an hour. Most teams sit in the medium band. Medium performers deploy somewhere between weekly and monthly. Lead time runs from a week to a month. The gap from medium to elite is not a technology gap. DORA research consistently shows it is primarily a process and culture gap. Elite teams are not using better tools. They have eliminated the handoffs, the approval queues, and the rework loops that inflate lead time. Your job as a DevOps lead is to find and remove those blockers, not to acquire. 2 failure modes consistently kill DORA programs. The first is gaming the metric. When teams learn that deployment frequency is tracked, they start deploying trivial commits just to hit the number. Lead time gets gamed by starting the clock at merge instead of at the first commit. Change failure rate gets reclassified so incidents are not attributed to deployments. The score goes up. Nothing actually improves. The antidote is to optimize for the underlying capabilities, not the metric. Small batch sizes, automated testing, feature flags for safe rollout. If those practices are in place, the DORA numbers follow. Do not manage to the dashboard. The second failure mode is treating DORA as complete. DORA does not measure developer experience, cognitive load, documentation quality, or onboarding speed. The SPACE framework adds those dimensions. Use DORA as your primary throughput and stability signal, and acknowledge what it is blind to. Google open-sourced the 4 Keys stack. It ingests events from your GitHub Actions pipelines, your incident tracker, and your deployment system, then computes the 4 metrics automatically. If you are on Grafana, community dashboards wire directly to this data. The Prometheus recording rules shown here compute deployment frequency as deployments per day, and lead time as the median time from the first commit in a pull request to the production deployment. Both are queryable directly from your existing observability stack. One of the offline milestones for this session is to get the 4 Keys stack running against your real data. Seeing your own numbers is qualitatively different from understanding the formula. Until you have seen your team's actual lead time broken down by stage, queue time, review time, test time, deploy time, you are guessing about where the bottleneck is. If you do not currently have access to your CI/CD metrics or incident data, getting that access is your first leadership problem to solve. Value stream mapping comes from lean manufacturing. The idea is to draw the full sequence of steps that a piece of work goes through from request to delivery, and for each step record 2 numbers: process time, which is how long the work is actively being worked on, and lead time, which is the wall clock time the work spends in that step, including all waiting. Flow efficiency is total process time divided by total lead time. For most software teams, flow efficiency is between 5 and 15%. That means 85 to 95% of the time a feature spends, in progress, is wait time, not actual work. That number is usually shocking to engineers who assumed the bottleneck was someone working too slowly. It is almost never that. The bottleneck is the queue, the approval gate, the environment that is not available, the dependency team that is backlogged. The hardest part of value stream mapping is measuring accurately. A story that takes 1 week often has 4 hours of actual work in it. Count the real process time, not the calendar time someone claims to be working on it. The 7 wastes from lean manufacturing map directly to software delivery. Overproduction is building features no one uses, which is common when teams do not validate with users before building. Waiting is the dominant waste in most delivery systems. Waiting for review, for an environment, for an approval, for a dependency team. Transportation is handoffs. Every time work changes hands, context is lost and queues form. Overprocessing is gold plating. Elaborate processes, mandatory reviews for trivial changes, sign-offs that do not add value. Inventory is work in progress that is not flowing. The ticket sitting in review for a week. Motion is friction in the toolchain, needing to log into 3 systems to understand why a build failed. Defects are the most expensive waste. Rework, incidents, rollbacks. Your value stream map should show you which waste dominates. Fix the biggest one first. Do not optimize the others until the bottleneck moves. 3 instruments are often confused with each other, and the confusion leads to bad goal setting. KPIs, key performance indicators, are the health metrics you watch continuously. Uptime, error rate, deployment frequency. They tell you if something is broken. Targets are thresholds on KPIs. Uptime must be above 99.9%. These are guardrails, not goals. OKRs, objectives, and key results are different in kind. An objective is a qualitative direction. Become the fastest shipping team in the product organization. Key results are measurable milestones that demonstrate you moved in that direction. Reduce median lead time from 5 days to 1 day by end of Q3. OKRs are aspirational and time-bounded. They are not checklists. If you hit all your key results at 100% every quarter, your OKRs are not ambitious enough. The standard is that 70% attainment is success, The stretch is the point. A good DevOps OKR connects a capability improvement directly to a business outcome, not just to an engineering metric. 4 patterns consistently kill OKRs before they do any good. The first is vague objectives. Improve developer productivity. There is no way to know whether you have achieved it. A better objective specifies the friction you are removing. Second, output-focused key results. Adopt Kubernetes is an output. Reduce hosting cost per service by 30% is an outcome. You can adopt Kubernetes without reducing cost, and you can reduce cost without Kubernetes. Outcome key results keep you honest. Third, zero incident targets. Aiming for 0 incidents punishes teams for being honest about failures and incentivizes hiding problems instead of surfacing them. Better targets set recovery speed and change failure rate thresholds. Fourth, too many key results. 12 key results means nothing is actually a priority. 3 key results that ladder to one objective means you have made real trade-off decisions and everyone knows what matters this quarter. A Wardley map visualizes the evolutionary maturity of the components in your system and helps you make better build versus buy decisions. The horizontal axis is evolution, from Genesis, which is novel and poorly understood, through custom-built and product, to commodity, which is a utility that is widely available and well understood. The vertical axis is the value chain. High up is user visible. Low is infrastructure. The decision rule is straightforward. Components in the Genesis stage that represent your competitive advantage are worth building and protecting. Everything that has evolved to the product or commodity stage should generally be bought or rented. Maintaining a custom container orchestration system in 2026 is almost never the right call. Kubernetes is a commodity. Spend your engineers' time on what only your organization can build. This framework stops the "but we built it, we understand it" argument from overriding sound economics. Your investment strategy should follow the map, not the sunk cost. As a DevOps lead, you will constantly be choosing between tactical work, things that fix today's pain, and strategic work that changes the system so today's pain does not recur. Both are necessary. Tactical work is not shameful. Keeping the lights on, unblocking a release, patching a critical vulnerability, these are real leadership responsibilities. But if you spend all of your cycle on tactical work, you are a glorified on-call escalation point, not a lead. The scalability test is simple. If you do this, does the same problem come back in 6 months? If yes, it is tactical. If no, because you have automated it, eliminated the condition, or changed the process, it is strategic. A healthy goal is spending at least 30 to 40% of team capacity on strategic work. Track it explicitly. If you do not measure the ratio, tactical work crowds out strategic work every time. Burnout in DevOps teams is almost always a ratio problem. Teams spending 80% or more on reactive work burn out fast, even if no individual task is overwhelming. A 6-quarter roadmap is the right horizon for DevOps strategic planning. Shorter than that, and you are not doing strategy, you are doing sprint planning. Longer than 6 quarters, and the specificity degrades to wishful thinking. The structure shown here gives you a scaffold for each quarter, a theme, a primary investment, one explicit trade-off describing you are not doing this quarter, and a North Star metric. The trade-off column is the most important. Executive trust is built by demonstrating that you understand resource constraints and have made deliberate choices, not tried to do everything at once. Your value stream map from this session should directly inform the first 2 quarters. The waste with the highest impact goes first. The Wardley analysis should inform which components you invest in building versus retiring in quarters 3 through 6. A roadmap without explicit trade-offs is a wish list. A roadmap with them is a strategy. The executive one-pager has 5 parts in order. First, the business outcome at risk. Not our deployment pipeline is fragile. Instead, we cannot safely ship new features more than once per month, which means our competitors with 2-week release cycles are learning 3 times faster than we are. Lead with the cost to the business, not the technical symptom. Second, your current state in numbers, your DORA snapshot. Numbers, not narrative. Third, root cause in 1 sentence. The longest wait is the manual security review gate, which averages 5 days. Fourth, the investment and expected outcome. Automate security gates via static analysis and policy as code, projected to reduce review time to under 2 hours, and enable weekly releases by Q3. Fifth, the specific ask. What do you need? Budget, headcount, a policy exception. Be specific. Executives cannot act on vague asks. The 3-minute pitch maps directly to this structure. You have roughly 30 seconds per section. The engineering work is the easy part. The compression is the skill worth developing. This case study traces an 18-month journey from the medium band to elite. The team started with deployment frequency of once per month, lead time of 4 weeks, a change failure rate of 35%, and a mean time to restore of 2 days. After 18 months, on-demand deployments, lead time under 4 hours, change failure rate under 10%, and recovery time under 30 minutes. What changed? Not the tooling stack. They were already on GitHub Actions and Kubernetes. What changed was the process. First, they mapped their value stream and found that 80% of lead time lived in 3 places: the manual QA handoff, the deployment approval queue, and environment provisioning. They eliminated all 3. Second, they replaced the monthly release window with feature flags and a continuous deployment pipeline. Third, they invested in automated recovery playbooks, so MTTR became a function of automation speed, not engineer availability. The lesson is that the changes were mostly process and organizational, not technical. Elite performance is achievable without a new tech stack. It requires eliminating the systemic weight that is hiding inside your delivery process. 4 deliverables are required to complete this session. Your DORA snapshot, real numbers for your team, covering the last quarter. Your value stream map, and an image with process time and lead time recorded on every step. Your OKRs and 6-quarter roadmap. And your executive one-pager. These are not academic exercises. If any of them feel abstract, that is a signal to get closer to your actual operational data. The 5 offline milestones are the multiplier. Deploy 4 keys against your real CI and incident data. Run a value stream mapping workshop with your actual team and compare it to the solo map you created today. Present the executive one-pager to a real stakeholder and capture their reaction. Read team topologies, chapters through 4 in preparation for month 2. And identify your team's single worst delivery weight and start a trial intervention. Write a short architecture decision record for that trial. It becomes the first artifact of month 2. 3 things to carry out of this session. First, DORA is a signal, not a score. Optimize for the underlying capabilities, small batches, fast feedback, automated recovery, and the metrics follow. Managing to the score without the capabilities gets you worse over time. Second, the bottleneck is almost always wait time, not work time. Until you have mapped your value stream with real numbers, you are guessing. The value stream map is the diagnostic. Without it, you are optimizing the wrong thing. Third, strategy without communication is just a plan on a slide. The executive narrative is the thing that turns your insight into budget, headcount, and policy change. The engineering is the easy part. Month 2 covers team topologies and how to structure your organization to support the flow efficiency you identified today. Come to month 2 with your value stream map completed and your DORA numbers in hand.